Yep, it's on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ronald Presner. I'm the chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals for the town of Mount Pleasant, and I welcome everybody to this evening's meeting. Before we start, let me first introduce the members of our board. On my far left is Mr. George Lapatos. To his left is Herb Doer, to his right, rather, I'm sorry. Sitting next to me is Kathy Grabowski, who is the secretary of the zoning board. And to my right is Mr. Nick DeChico, and to the far right is Adrian Novak. We have several applications for tonight. The first one being a decision only, and that's Z25-28, Linda Whitehead Esquire for the Jewish Child Care Association. Are they present?
Our understanding was this is on for decision only tonight, so we were not prepared to make
That's
any
okay.
presentation.
I'm just going to read for the public record.
Sure.
You're the representative of the owners, correct?
Correct. Linda Whitehead with the firm of McCullough Goldberger and Stout,
Okay.
representing JCCA.
And this is the premises located at 1075 Broadway in Pleasantville, designated on the tax maps, town of Mount Pleasant as 106.11-1-21. This application is submitted for an appeal of the building inspector's determination that a health center is prohibited use within the R20 zoning district pursuant to Town Code 21845. Parochial and private elementary schools, high schools, and colleges. Do you have anything to add to what you've had? We've had several meetings.
Yeah, my understanding was that we wouldn't, that the matter was closed, so that we wouldn't be given an
Okay.
opportunity to add this evening.
I think that's correct.
Okay. Mr. Lapatos?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just going to place some findings upon the record in connection with this application. As the applicant is aware, during both of the hearing sessions that we conducted previously, you were afforded an opportunity to present evidence before the board. Several members of the JCC appeared with you and offered evidence through their testimony. You also provided a significant amount of documentary evidence. And I will reflect on the fact that the first hearing session that we conducted in large part was disappointing to us in terms of the amount of preparation that seemed to be afforded by the applicants. However, we did have a second session. During the second hearing session, which we did afford to the applicants to supplement the record that was created during the first hearing, there was a probing analysis of the nature of the use, prospective use of the new facility that's going to be erected or applied for to be erected on the premises of the JCC at the Pleasantville Cottage School. Through that probing analysis, I believe that the record reflects that the use, proposed use of the facility would be in large part consistent with the previous use, although it is a expanded facility that will provide better services. It doesn't appear to the board that the nature of those services will deviate from the existing services provided. Without going into all of the findings that were made, our determination was based upon an analysis of whether the building inspector's determination to deny the application to erect the new facility violated Town Code 21845. The determination of the board based upon the findings that were made during those two hearings reflects that the building inspector erroneously made his determination that in fact the health center proposed for the new facility is not a prohibited use within the R20 zoning district. And for those reasons, we grant the application of the applicant and reverse the decision of the building inspector. That concludes the findings made. At this point, if you want to take a vote of the board members to memorialize that determination.
Do I have a motion to approve the decision?
I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
All right, do you have a second?
Mr. Chairman, based on the provide documentation, I'll second.
All right, second by Mr. Dorr. Mrs. DeChico?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Novak?
Aye.
And the chairman votes aye. All right,
Thank you very much, and thank you for your time and careful consideration of this
Right.
matter.
thank you. Next application is 26-7 Pleasant Spa.
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm first time here. I'm a little bit nervous. So my friends, the George, the English very good. So him help me. Thank you.
Okay. Raise your right hand, please.
Me,
My name Ju Zhen
No, no,
Yu.
all right, raise your right hand.
right hand you come.
All right.
Okay.
The testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Okay. And you are, your name?
My name Ju Zhen Yu. My name Ju Zhen Yu.
Okay.
My English Amy.
And what is your affiliation with the Pleasant Spa?
Manager,
Yes.
manager con.
Manager.
Your manager?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, this is regarding the premises at 53 Kensico Road in Thornwood, New York, is that correct?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. The parcel is designated on the tax assessment maps, Town of Mount Pleasant, as 106.15-1-39. The application is for a special use permit for a massage establishment in accordance with Town Code 218-63.1, in which massage establishments, no massage establishment may open, operate or exist in the town without obtaining a special use permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals, and that's what you're here for tonight.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, they did both. Okay. And the premises are located at 53 Kensico Road in Thornwood. Now, this is behind the
Walgreens.
Walgreens, right. And I think it was once a hair salon?
From what the landlord told us, it used to be a hair salon.
Yes. All right, and now this type of spa that you're putting in, is that for facial?
Primary facial and also scalp hair care.
Okay. I have no further questions. Ms. Novak?
No questions.
Mrs. DeChico?
No question.
Okay, Mr. Dorr?
Just for clarification for the record, you said you're the manager. Is that the same as owner, or are we interpreting it the same thing?
Oh, no, she's the manager. The owner, I believe, is Ryan. Yeah, Ryan's, I forgot the last name, sorry. I know him by Ryan.
So this is not full body massage, feet massage?
Oh, no, this
none of
is
that?
strictly facial and scalp hair treatment.
Okay. No further, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Lopatos?
Nothing further, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Is there anyone here for or against this application? If not, do I have someone to make a decision to approve or deny the application?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the board approve application Z26-7 based upon the paperwork submitted and the record made here tonight.
Okay, Mr. DeChico. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, second by Ms. Novak. Mr. Dorr?
Aye.
Aye, Mr. Lopatos?
Aye.
All right, the chairman votes aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Alright.
so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next application is 26-8, Daniel Sanchez. Raise your right hand. Testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Okay. Is that gentleman going to speak?
It's possible he might, if you have any questions for him. That's Daniel Sanchez. I'm David Mooney, the architect for the project.
I'm going to, hope I don't pronounce the name wrong. Orte Giracocha?
Yeah, close enough.
Close, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. One of the premises at 681 Sherman Avenue in Thornwood, New York. Is that correct?
Correct.
Designated on the tax maps as, at Mount Pleasant as 106.18-2-69. The application is for a proposed two-story addition to an existing single-family dwelling on a 10,000 square foot parcel in the R10 zone. And what you're looking for is a variance for the front yard setback. 30 feet is required, 9.78 is existing, proposing 9.78, or a 22.2% variance, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, when we were out there looking at it, the house looks like it needs a little repair.
Right.
And it is existing 9.7, about 9 feet from the street or from the property line.
Correct.
There was a lot to the left of it. I don't know if you're going to be if you own that lot or utilizing that lot.
It's kind of an oversized lot. It's this area in here. Right now, we're
Yeah,
gonna,
I think that
we're
was
gonna
it, yeah.
remove a shed from that area that's in violation of the zoning ordinance. And then the balance of this, we're not building on, we're just building on top of the existing structure.
So basically, what you're doing is you're not expanding
We're not expanding the
Yes.
footprint, correct?
sideways or up and down,
But
front,
we're
rear.
putting the second floor on,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay. I have no further questions. Mr. Novak?
No questions.
Mr. DeChico?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Just clarification, Mr. Chairman, you said to the left?
Facing
And
the
if
building,
you're facing the building, where the driveway goes down, or are you talking to the right?
talking about where the driveway goes down to the left.
Okay. That's part of your lot.
Correct. And there's a shed on there that,
Right.
I said,
And it's like a figure-eight type driveway, stone type driveway, whatever, and there's all trees on that side, but
right.
the funny, to the right, the lot on the right to the corner, is that part of your property?
No,
Okay, so that, your property, that house is pretty much buttoned up to that,
relatively close to that
to
side
that
yard.
line from the
Correct,
side yard setback. Okay.
correct.
Mr. Lepantos?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm just going to confirm with the applicant that the existing setback of the structure that exists today is 9.78 feet, and after the completion of the project, it will continue to be 9.78 feet. Is that right?
Correct. No increase in the nonconformity.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is there anything else that you
Mr.
wish to
Chairman,
add?
based on the plans, oh, yeah, for you, yes.
Is there anything else you wish to add to this
And
application?
just, we think that's a benefit to the town to take, it's currently a one-bedroom,
Okay.
small house, and this will bring it up more to kind of town standards.
Mr. Dorr?
No?
Anything?
Anybody here or against or
Public comment.
public?
Anybody here for or against this application?
Okay.
Nope.
Now I'll go based on the submitted information and record set. I move that we approve Z 26.8.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. DeChico. Ms. Novak?
Aye.
Mr. Lepantos?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye, carrying 5-0.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Next application is 26-9, John Santoro. Good evening.
Good evening.
I assume that you're Mrs. Santoro?
Soon to be.
Will you be speaking this evening at all? He's going to speak totally for both of you. Raise your right hand. Testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Correct?
I do.
John
Yes.
Santoro, correct?
No, I'm Brad DeMott. I'm the
Is that-
architect.
Oh, you're John.
That's
I'm
John
sorry.
Santoro. I'm Brad DeMott. I'm an architect
I
representing
need, let me have your name and your affiliation.
Brad DeMott. I'm an architect.
Okay. Your office?
DeMott Architects,
Okay. Where?
Ridgefield, Connecticut.
Okay. So it's John Santoro and Marnie Mayer, correct? Okay. You're the owners of the premises located at 19 Pine Road in Valhalla, New York?
Correct.
Designated on the tax map, Town of Mount Pleasant as 89/112.20-3-37. The application is for the proposed demolition of the existing single-family dwelling and the reconstruction of a new single-family dwelling on a substandard parcel of, say, almost 14,000 square feet in an R20 zone. And substandard parcel only refers to size within the area, it has nothing to do with the value or anything else. You have a front yard setback, 50 feet is required, 39.7 feet is existing, proposing 31 feet, asking for a full variance of 18.9 feet. Correct? And we have over here
There's more.
some more. Front yard setback on Pine Road, 50 feet, 38 feet. You're asking for 37.5. Actually, you're asking for half a foot, really. 12.5 feet. Rear yard setback, 50 feet. 29 is existing, asking 24. And again, it's 25.7 feet from the 50 feet, which makes it, actually is only about a 5-foot variance on that one. And maximum
Right.
lot coverage, 15 feet is required. 11 feet is existing, 11.7 square feet. You're asking for 20.6, and it's 5.6%, correct?
On coverage, let's go over those coverage numbers again, please.
What's that?
You, just go over, please go over the coverage numbers again.
The maximum lot coverage numbers, Mr. Chairman.
The maximum lot coverage is 15%.
Right.
And it's a maximum, you have 11.7, you're asking for 20.6,
Correct.
so it's a 5.6%
Correct.
variance. Okay, looks like you're doing a lot of extensive work on this project.
Tearing a house down, building another one. Yes.
Why not? It's a nice neighborhood. Can't go
So
wrong.
as you reiterated, we are requesting 4 variances to build a new house. And this, the existing property is in the R20 zone, and as you know, that minimum lot size is 20,000 square feet for that zone, and this lot is roughly 13,800, so it's about 2/3 less than it should be. So it's definitely
Right.
undersized. It's a non-conforming lot. It's also a corner lot, and which really comes into play with the setbacks because, you know, we have 2 front yards, so instead of this, and this is existing, this is proposed, and instead of that, what would be a side yard having a 15-foot setback, it's now a 50-foot setback. So the existing house, you can see photos here, and I have a couple of others, but that's the existing house. It's a ranch built in the 50s. That whole subdivision was really developed about the same time. Really a bunch of modest capes and ranches, but there have been some houses that have been torn down and a lot of additions, remodels through the years. So our variance request is to tear down the existing house and build a new 2-story house. And, you know, knowing that we need that variances would be required, we purposely try to keep the footprint as small as possible and compact to minimize our encroachments into the setbacks. The new house is approximately 60 feet wide and about 40 feet deep. In terms of hardship, we have a couple of hardships. One is the lot size, in terms of it is an undersized, non-conforming lot, and it's about 6,200 square feet less than it should be. And obviously, if the lot was bigger, chances are the proposed house might not. We wouldn't even be here. We may not. If the lot was bigger, the setbacks would that buildable area would be much bigger, and we may not need encroaching on. We wouldn't be encroaching on setbacks, and we most likely wouldn't be exceeding the max allowable lot coverage.
Can I
Also,
ask you just for my clarity before you go forward?
yeah,
The red area, is that the buildable lot?
that is the buildable area.
That's the only buildable area?
That is about 54 feet wide and 16 feet deep. So short of a tiny house, any house being built on this property is going to require a variance or multiple variances.
Beyond the mere fact that the lot is undersized to begin with, if you put that to the side for a second, just if you're just dealing with the setbacks,
Right.
the red zone is your buildable area.
This is your buildable area.
Okay, and do you know the square footage of that, more or less?
Well, it's 54 by 16.
Not a lot.
It's not a lot. Right. So, again, we knew going into this from day one that it's being a substandard lot, and when you impose these setbacks on it, because the town doesn't offer any relief. I mean, some towns do, may lessen the setbacks or just have less restrictive, some of the other zoning regulations. But in this case, there are no, there's no relief whatsoever. So all the typical setbacks for the R20 zone apply, which creates a very small buildable area. So yeah, hardship. I mean, so it's lot size being. It's an undersized, non-conforming lot, and essentially any house, given that buildable area, would require zoning variance. Most likely a couple. The other is lot location. This being a corner lot instead of a standard lot, and so we kind of get penalized because this side yard setback on the proposed, this goes from 50 feet. Instead of 15, it's 50. Now, even in this case, even if it was 15, all that would do is create a longer, narrower buildable area, and it doesn't really help, but it still comes into play. And the other issue is just or as far as hardship goes, is clearly, I mean, this lot and all these other lots in this part of town were rezoned at some point. I mean, surely these weren't the setbacks when they built these houses. So at some point years ago, the town came along and said, well, we're going to rezone this whole part of town and impose the setbacks on it, and it makes all the lots non-conforming. It makes all the houses pre-existing non-conforming structures. And so, and of course, we've we notified all the neighbors as required by the board, and what I had John and Marnie do is go door to door and introduce themselves and meet all the neighbors and explain they had plans and explain the project to them. And so, not only do we notify them, but we also have all the neighbors, all 7 of the neighbors had to be notified, are in support of this application, which we've submitted. This is the form which you already have, but this is their signed approval of their support of this project. And as far as the balancing tests go, as you know, New York State has the 5 criteria for balancing tests, and the first one is whether or not there be an undesirable change. And I would say no, there won't be an undesirable change. The house is in context and scale with some of the other newer houses in the neighborhood, and those that got additions. Could this be achieved by any other method other than a variance? Well, no, because given the buildable area, there's no way you're building anything on this lot without one or more variances. Next one is whether or not the variances are substantial. So my take on that is they are not relative to the footprint of the existing house and the increases in the setbacks. So, for instance, on Pine Road. So this is Pine Road. This is only going to be increasing the distance from the property line by a little over 8 feet. On Beach Road side, this is only increasing the setback by about 1 foot. To the rear, this is and again, now this is a covered porch on the back of this house, and that's what it's being measured to because it's roofed. And also in the back of this house, there is a covered porch here. So our setback is, our distance from the property line is to that corner of this covered porch, but it's not to the house itself. But that's where, even from the rear, that's only a 5.2-foot increase above what currently exists. And then as far as building coverage goes, for 20,000, if the lot was 20,000 square feet, which is the minimum required for the zone, 15% would be 3,000 square feet. That would be your max allowable. And because of the size of the lot, because it's undersized, that gets reduced down to almost 2,000 square feet. So our proposed coverage is at 2842, which is below 3,000, which would be for the typical lot size. But then, what we're asking for is building coverage. Yeah, we're going to be at 20.6%. Right.
You have, there was a house built on Pine, but I don't remember the cross street, maybe a few years ago, where we had a similar situation. Not exactly the same, but similar. And this house is going to be a two-story house?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a picture of the elevation
Yeah.
of what you're going to do?
This being front of the house. Front, right side, that faces beach, this faces Pine, that's the rear and left side.
From the other drawing, it looks like you have a parking for 5 cars, 3 in the house. And
Well, it's a 3-car garage. There's a 3-car garage here, and there's parking space here, which really serves as a backup space.
Okay.
But it's also for kind of overflow parking where somebody can come over and not park in front of the garage doors.
or park in front of the garage.
But that has nothing to do with building coverage.
What's that?
That has nothing to do with building coverage or setbacks.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
I'm just trying to think a minute. I'm trying to get the orientation of the house. I'm trying to remember it. I remember the property, Pine and Beechwood. I don't know if the other house that we looked at was on the other side.
well, right, so this is Beach Road, which kind of wraps around. Then this is Beach Place.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was Beach Place. Anyway, I think it's, my personal opinion, I think it'll be an improvement to what you have now. And we've been having people coming in, buying homes, and next thing you know, they're not tearing them down, but they're building them up because it's, we have families and so on and so forth. But from what I can see, it's a nice looking house. I can't complain.
Thank you.
Ms. Novak, do you have any questions for the
No
applicant?
questions.
None? Mrs. DeChico?
What's the current square footage of the current house and the new house that's being proposed?
Square footage of existing house?
Yeah.
Fairly small. I don't have that right offhand, but it's probably less than 2,000 square feet. It's a one-story ranch.
And the new?
New is, let's see, it's about 4,000 square feet over 2 floors. First floor, second floor.
And the current house, it's only for 1 floor, right?
Right, so one-story ranch.
So, I would share the chairman's position in saying it certainly would seem to be an improvement. It would look very nice. The current house looks nice. It's, I'm sure this new one will be beautiful. And, and I understand where you're coming from with the setbacks. But for the purposes of the record, can you talk a little bit about alternatives that were considered to maybe mitigate some of the setbacks that you're requesting and why those were not feasible, so we can understand where you might have been able to shave off some variance requests, but didn't really make sense for you nonetheless?
Well, I mean, one of the first things I looked at was, again, as I mentioned, knowing variances are going to be required. Really, the intent was to try and keep the footprint of the house small, which, because the bigger it is, you're just going to be over this setback or that setback. So really trying to keep the footprint of the house small. And the other thing we looked at was just shifting it around. If you move it this way, then you increase this number, but you decrease that. And so we kind of settled on this happy medium in terms of, it's a little closer to the street. And, and even taking into account the back terrace or that covered terrace, that dimension relative to this dimension are just within feet of each other. Again, it's really as much as possible compact house in terms of footprint.
Do you have any more questions?
No, no more
All right, Mr. Dorr?
Building on Mr. DeChico's questioning, was it ever looked at of actually blowing the roof off and going up and enhancing, rehabbing the existing house without demolishing and starting all over? Because from looking at these plans, there's a lot of site work being done. To the chairman's point of adding the 2 turnaround spots that currently do not exist, that you have to dig into the ground. There's building retaining walls all in that area, which is obviously outside of the scope of this.
Right.
But what I'm saying is to address different alternatives that can still achieve the same thing. I mean, looking at these plans, this plan looks like it should be on an R40 zone house, which is obviously bigger, but you're talking about, you're saying 4,000 square feet, and, are you doubling it, or you going more, but what could you have achieved the same thing by going up?
We really never gave it in consideration to tearing the roof off and building a second-story addition to the existing house.
Okay.
Mr. Lopatos?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, Ms. Demott?
Yes.
Just with respect to the entirety of the project. Actually, let me start with, you made a comment about the zoning code in the town, and I think you might have been mistaken on the fact that our zoning code only went into effect in the 50s. We didn't
okay.
have one previously. So it wasn't as though this house existed and then the zoning code was put in place in a way to address.
No. Well, no, I've seen that happen. I wasn't implying that happened. I was
Yeah.
implying that when the house was built in the 50s,
Pre-code.
might have been so you're saying the code existed at the time?
That's my suspicion. I didn't
Right.
ask you what year the house was built.
Right.
But
Well,
I'm
55.
presuming, knowing the nature of the neighborhood and the age of the other houses in the neighborhood, that it was built pre-code. So there were many houses that wound up being non-conforming lots.
Right.
And as you indicated, they would benefit from a classification as being pre-existing non-conforming use. That said, when these homeowners bought the house, they knew what the zoning limitations were on the property. So when you come now and you ask to build a new structure, the house was already non-compliant on several fronts. We have non-compliance in the front yard setback, which, again, because of the nature of it being a corner lot, it results in 2 substandard violative provisions. Then with regard to the rear yard setback and, in fact, the maximum lot coverage, all of them were violative prior to the proposed redesign. But what you've done is you've created a house now that exacerbates every single one of those setbacks, every single one of those violations. So when the other members of the board are asking whether other alternatives considered that wouldn't have, at the very least, not expanded and exacerbated every one of those variances, your response was a little disappointing that you hadn't even considered that. The fact of the matter is, there is the possibility of taking the existing structure's footprint and building upon it, keeping the existing non-conforming measures, again, to the front and rear yard, as well as the maximum lot coverage, but you didn't explore that. So my concern here is that you didn't even make an effort to try to minimize the amount of nonconformity that this proposed structure presents. And particularly with respect to the maximum lot coverage, your property as proposed with the new development would not be consistent with the homes in the community. We don't generally allow excess maximum lot coverage, although the house did previously have, I guess it was a 20.6% is what you're asking. So initially, it had 11.7, which was conforming. 15% is what's required under the code, and you've gone to 20%, which is almost double the maximum lot coverage that you previously had. That's a significant increase. I understand that there may be a desire to have the full 4,000 square feet that's proposed. The question that I have is, now that we've presented the alternative of considering keeping the footprint and building up, would that be something that the applicants would be willing to consider and perhaps present at a future meeting? Or are you set on the proposal that you've made for this application?
Well, I think there's, and maybe John could speak with this. John's more familiar with the house than I am because he lived there for 10 years, and it's been in his family for a very long time. But just based on some of their requirements or needs, for instance, let's say you tore the house down to the first floor deck, and then chances are it's not big enough of a footprint to just build up. Okay.
Why do you say that? I don't understand. It's not?
No.
Could you
No,
elaborate?
well, okay, so a couple things. One is, so you have a one-story house with an 8-foot ceiling. So you're gonna tear the roof off and build a second-story addition. Okay, but you're pretty much gonna be stuck with 8-foot ceilings. So if you want higher ceilings, then all the walls are coming down. Now you're down to the first floor, subfloor, and building up. And chances are you're also gonna be going out in any direction.
What chances are you going to go out?
Well, yeah, because you're not. Chances are you're not just building. Maintain the footprint that's there.
But you could.
Well, you could do a lot of things.
That's why I'm
Right.
proposing
Okay.
it,
So,
but you
but
can.
now but another issue, for instance, may be what's existing ceiling height in the basement. Maybe 7 feet.
Yeah, it's just, my head almost like hits the.
Okay. So you have a basement that you can never finish because it's not legal habitable space, and they want a finished basement with a 3-car garage.
So you're
Okay.
conceding that you could keep the footprint and not exacerbate the variances that you require for this project?
Well, theoretically, if you kept the footprint of the house, and again, I think you're tearing the roof off and you're tearing all the walls down. You're starting with the footprint of the house, but chances are you're building out in one or more directions to meet your needs in terms of the spaces that you want on the first floor or the second floor. So the footprint would be increasing.
Even if we concede that point, that you would have to increase the footprint on one side at the least to accomplish the desired result, that doesn't explain why you're going out on 3 sides and expanding the footprint, and then increasing the lot coverage to what I consider to be an impermissible extent. So, again, I'm proposing to you that if there was a willingness on the part of the applicants to alter the project so that it doesn't exacerbate every single one of the existing setback violations that exist, I personally would find that I would be more amenable to granting the applications. But as you're coming now with, in effect, 4 variances for a house that I don't believe you've demonstrated requires all 4 variances, dissatisfied at this point.
Okay, so I'd just like to address a couple comments. I mean, some of the setback, some of the variance requests on some of the setbacks are minimal. I mean, we're talking about a foot, 5 feet.
I think percentage might be the better gauge, but
But I think that's if you look at it from the existing.
Right. If we're comparing the footprint of what's there to the footprint of what we're proposing. Right.
Yes, but-
Right. And then yes, then
And therein
Right.
lies the issue why I perhaps have some, maybe not as strongly as Mr. Lapazos, but some reservations. Because many times we get applications like this where it's a pre-existing non-conforming use, same situation as you, and the applicant comes in and essentially wants to take the same footprint, more or less very much the same, and build a bigger house but within the same footprint, and those usually go through very smoothly because we understand that the setbacks are what they are and the whole
Right.
neighborhood's been living with the setbacks
Right.
the way that it is. So if you build a little bit bigger a house or something,
It's 2-story instead of 1-story, but
Right, I get it.
same footprint,
So-
yeah.
when we start building out on an undersized lot, that becomes problematic because, you know, as you said, you're 14,000 square feet, a lot is supposed to be 20, these setbacks are designed for 20,000 square feet. So we have to consider that too, because some of these variances, some of them, if it was on a lot that was bigger, might not be so impactful on the neighbors, but because it's on a smaller lot, even though it's through no fault of your own, there is, at least to some degree, more of an impact potentially on the neighbors. So that's part of what we have to consider, which is why
You
we're
know, all
trying
the-
to find a way if there is
You know,
any
all the
way you
neighbors
could-
are okay with it. But here's what I'd like to
The
offer.
ones now are, the ones,
I know.
next time
But
around.
here's
maybe
what
not.
I'd like to offer up, because, like, I'm
Disadvantage,
aware of,
right.
you know, I've
The
been doing,
disadvantage you have.
here's what I'd like
is
to
about
offer.
a 7,000 square foot within the R20 zone that you don't have. And that presents a problem. And if you put a house like this on that size, existing size lot, I'm not saying it's a McMansion, I'm not saying that at all, but it does become overpowering for the size of the lot. And unfortunately, it's you know, the lot's only 13,000 square
Right.
feet.
So here's what I would like to offer, trying to come to a resolution. On the rear part of this terrace, it's covered, and that because it's covered counts as building coverage, and it also is what we're measuring to in terms of distance from rear property line. If we were to remove that covered terrace, that would do two things. It would reduce the variance request for the rear yard setback. It would also reduce building coverage. And specifically, those numbers would be, if we eliminated that terrace, the rear yard setback would be, the variance request would only be 9.8 feet instead of,
25.7.
no, that's the 5.2 is the difference. Proposed house, so let's see. Right, 25 point, right, so right now we're, as designed, the variance request would be for 25.7 feet, and that would be reduced down to 9.8 feet. Right, and then as far as building coverage go, if we took that covered terrace out of the equation, instead of 20.6%, we'd be at 17.6%, which is a lot closer to 15.
In the drawing on the left, there's a white area that you're talking about. The covered porch, what does that cover, the entire white area?
No, this
Oh,
is a
that.
terrace across the back of the house. And right here, this lightly shaded area, this is part of the terrace that's
hard to see, yes.
covered.
Okay.
It took me a second to.
Yeah. Well, you might be able to see it better here. This is the terrace on the back of the house, and this is covered. And we're measuring to that corner, that column is the closest point to the rear yard property line. And that's,
So by removing the cover,
and if we got rid of the covered terrace, we would then be measuring to the edge
the
of
house.
the fireplace chimney. Right, we'd be measuring to that point instead of that point. So it has we're reducing building coverage by about 2.5%, and then 3%, and then significantly reducing the encroachment into the rear yard setback in that variance request.
Are your clients prepared to do that tonight, or do you guys want time to think about it? I know it's a big decision, I don't want you to feel rushed to make any decision, but
Oh, we've talked about it, and as much as they'd like it, they're willing to give it up.
how big is that covered porch,
That is
roughly?
roughly about 24 by 18.
I think that by removing the covered porch, you still have the existing house, the new house. And if it rains, stay inside. All right? I think that reduces it somewhat. The other ones, the front yard setback on Beach, that you're going a half a foot, basically. I mean, it's de minimis. And just sort of, and as far as the front yard, we're talking 8 feet, which is not that much of a variance. So we do reduce the lot coverage. Probably somewhere around 3%.
Oh, exactly 20,
What's that?
exactly 3, building coverage?
Yeah.
Exactly 3%, from 20.6 to 17.6.
Yeah, when I went to school, we didn't have computers. We had to use our brains. Yeah, so that makes a positive. Do the board members have any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I want to follow up on what you stated, but, so I want to make sure our numbers are consistent with the rear yard setback. So we would agree that the requirement for the rear yard setback is 50.
Yes.
That's correct. And we would agree that currently, with the house that is currently there now, it sits at an existing of 29.5 for the rear yard setback.
Right.
I believe that's my number. So what you're saying is if you took out the covered section of the patio, your variance would only be 9.8. Is that what you're saying? Because that would mean that your new rear yard setback would be 40.2.
40.2, right.
40.2, which
Right.
would mean
Ver-
that you're actually increasing or making your setback more. So where it is now would actually be further away from your rear yard neighbor, which I would think is a benefit to your rear yard neighbor
Yes.
to some degree. Okay, so you would be going from an existing of 29.5 to an existing with the new design of 40.2.
Right, and just so clear, just so we're clear, the blue line here is the footprint of the existing house.
Okay.
So yeah, so that corner of that covered porch that's there is here. And then now, the back of our house will be, the closest point to the rear property line will be here.
Right, but right.
Yeah.
I understand, but for the record, I think it's beneficial to you to put it on the record, is to say that your existing rear yard is 29.5, but under the new design, it would be further away at 40.2.
Right.
So I think, and just want to make sure we're clear on that, so.
Okay.
All right, 9.8 for the variance, very good. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
We discussed a lot tonight regarding this project. And I'm not worried about the side and front yard setbacks. And you're willing to remove the covered porch, which eliminates part of the variance that you need. I would be in favor of going ahead with this project. Now, I gotta find out, is there anyone here for or against this project? There's none. Does any of the board members have any other questions regarding this application? If not, do I have someone to either approve or deny the application?
Mr. Chairman, I vote to approve, I motion that we approve application Z 26-9 with the variances as submitted under variance 1, 2, and 4, and the variances as amended for variance 3, the rear yard setback.
Can I propose an amendment? I think the maximum lot coverage
Oh.
would not be this,
Yes, I'm sorry. You're-
17.6.
2.6 would be approved? Is that consistent?
2.4?
2.6.
2.6, okay.
2.6.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hess. Yes, with the
we have-
amendment to the variance request for maximum lot coverage as well.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, second by Ms. Novak. Mr. Dorr,
Nay?
excuse me?
No.
No. Mr. Lapatos?
Aye.
Aye. Chairman votes aye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
and good night.
Second. Next application is Domofsky Architecture, 26-13. Raise your right hand, please. Testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Steve Domofsky Architecture, 59 Cutskill Road.
All right.
So we have a,
Wait a minute, I have to read for the public
Sure.
record. Yeah, you're, for David's Seville, the owner of the premises located at 423 and 429 Commerce Street in Hawthorne, New York, correct?
correct,
Designated on the tax map, Town of Mount Pleasant, as 112.5-1-28 and 112.5-1-27. And the application is for a proposed new mixed-use building with 12 proposed dwelling units, 1 office space, and 2 commercial retail spaces along with rear parking lot. And the applicant's application is currently seeking planning board approval for, on a legal standard parcel of 16,400
Correct.
feet. And you're before us because of the height of the elevator bulkhead.
correct.
Correct my memory. I believe you came before us a few years ago where you were going to tear down those 2 buildings and you were going to put up 1 structure.
Correct.
And then there was some controversy with the next door neighbor, and everything seemed to have died out.
We were actually here a while ago, and at first we were gonna. There's a empty property in between the old Wenzig building and the existing building that's next door to the old Gordo's. Our first application was to infill that with a smaller building, and we came in front of the board on that project. There was no opposition from the public on that. The board's concern was we didn't have enough green space for that project. It was also a concern of the planning board as well. At the time, the planning board did not allow green space on the roof. Now, that was under the CNR code, the old CNR code for this district. The district's been rezoned to the Hamlet districts, and so we're in the Hawthorne Hamlet district. This code now does allow green space on the roof. So we've come across that. Now, while doing that, we decided to change the building, expand the building a little bit. So now what we're doing is we're tearing down both buildings, and we're building a building that comes across here that has better fire department access, better vehicular access, more visibility, and overall we think it's a better project. And the planning board is in favor of the project. I think they are. It does follow the form-based code 100%, other than this one variance that we're requesting from this board.
Off the topic, we were out there on Saturday,
Yep.
and we drove into the back.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have parking there for maybe 12 cars.
The proposal is actually for 19 parking spots. We exceed the requirements for the building.
Right. And the other concern is, when pulling out of that parking lot, there's 0 sight distance. It scares the living daylights out of you coming in onto Commerce Street. Has the planning board made any provisions to remove those parking spots in front of the existing buildings?
We had a traffic study done, and the traffic study was sight distances complies.
Who did this, Ray Charles?
Not really.
I mean, we pulled out, and you really can't see coming from the left, all right, let's say from Burger Hardware, you can't see, unless you can look through the windows of the parked cars, you can't see nothing. And that's a serious, and Herb Dorr usually drives us around, and he may agree with me, but I think that's a major issue that should be referred to with the planning board, because if you have parked cars on that street as it exists, you're putting your life in danger pulling out, as far as tenants in that building is concerned.
Respectfully, the planning board has looked at our traffic study reviewed by the town engineer, and it's satisfactory to them. The only additional information they requested on there is to do a car count study. That's it. So they have looked at it, and it's been addressed by the board and the town engineer. But we're gonna add information to it, but
Yeah. No, I just brought this topic up because we were there, and,
I mean, Mr. Chairman, that was also going through the existing driveway, and we haven't even seen the plans of where that driveway and how that's being modified.
right, I just brought this up because.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and we're only here to talk about the height of the elevator equipment spot there, which is not a big deal, as far as I'm concerned.
But, well, if the building's being designed from scratch, why do we need the extra room? Can you get into that?
So what's happening here is, the properties, you guys remember, we're at street level to the back of the building, we're going down about 8 to 10 feet, right? So all of our parking is in the back. So we're kind of adding on additional story to the building, but in relation to the height and story count, the way the code derives it, we're still a 3-story building. They don't look at the back of the building, they only look at the front of the building by taking the mean points from the end of the building on one side to the other one, and that establishes average grade. The average grade and the height of the building and the story counts are satisfactory, they satisfy the code. So by having to drive down to that lower level, we have to have handicap accessibility to the building. So that extends our elevator down 1 more story, okay? So we're adding another, it's almost a 4-story. And then we also need accessibility to the roof, which is almost another story. And the elevator itself, the way the elevators work, you have traction elevators and you have hydraulic elevators. We have to have a certain amount of height above the landing of the elevator for safety reasons, for a second means to catch the elevator in case it drops. So that extra 4 feet that we have is extra space for the mechanism of the elevator to, again, required by code and life safety items. So what I can offer is the elevator is 4 feet above the stair tower, which again is, the stair tower is well within code. The extra 4 feet is in planning the building. We looked at this a couple different times. Can we move the elevator, or can we do something different? The elevator, when in designing it, you always want your vertical circulation to be next to each other. You want your stairs and your elevators as close as possible to one another. So you can see here, we have a stair here and a stair here, our elevators here, so it's coupled with this for efficiency and design. The location of that elevator from the front of the building is about 25 feet on a 3-story building. I don't think it's going to be seen from the street at all, because you have a 50-foot high stair tower here, which again in plan is here, and then you have the elevator behind it. So you're almost like this, but you'll never be able to see it. You might be able to see it when you're approaching Commerce Street this way. You might be able to see the side of it, but that's really about it. Yeah, about 25 feet away. So we also we studied the building. Can we bring the whole building down? So our first floor level is right about right here. We tried to bring the whole building down, which in turn would bring the elevator height down itself. But because of the location of the sewers and the drainage and the existing infrastructure, that height is set where it has to be. That's the lowest it can go. We can't go any lower to meet the gravity-fed sewer system that's serving this building. I fought the engineers, I lost. So, so we did start off with it about 3 to 4 feet lower, which would have been well within setback with a height requirement. But again, for functional engineering reasons, we couldn't lower it anymore.
Okay.
It was, let's see, what else? So the height of the elevator is 4 feet. We're allowed 50 feet high, we're at 54 feet. So that's about a 7.5% increase on the height of the elevator shaft itself. And again, it's a necessary requirement for ADA accessibility to the building, both for all the retail, both for the and the housing part of it. So we really, we're at a point where the elevator can't be changed. We looked at multiple elevators. We had vendors coming in our office. We tried to lower it. It just can't go any lower. Can't go any lower. I don't think it's going to have a negative impact on the neighborhood. I don't think it's going to be seen, you know, unless you're really looking for it, maybe approaching from the side, you might be able to see the side of it. But that's really the only time you'll ever see. You'll never see it coming up Commerce, Commerce this way, coming from Berger down. Again, just because we have this opening here, which is our vehicular access for vehicles, fire trucks, and everything else, you might be able to see that from the side of the building.
Ms. Novak, do you have any questions?
Is anyone here for or against the application?
Do I have a motion? Well,
Ooh.
I have an inquiry.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone here for or against the application.
Do you have anything you want to ask? Other
You
than
want
that?
to try, Mr. Dorr?
Is that the only rendering you have that we can see? 'Cause the way
No,
I
I have other elevations. So this is the rear elevation. You can see our street level is up here, so we're coming down to this level. The elevator shaft is right here. So again, you're coming in from parking on this level. It serves 1, 2, 3 levels, and then up to the roof garden. And because that's our green space, we have to provide accessibility to all
That's
tenants.
gonna be my next question. My next question was, so there is green space that elevator and staircase has to access?
Correct.
All right, now,
Correct.
staying on that elevation,
Yeah.
the picture to my right, on the bottom right, that's the side looking from Burgers or from
Gordo's.
That's Gordo's, so
Yep.
that's the hill elevation? And
Yeah.
The parking is going under the new structure or just in back of the new
In
structure?
back of the structure, there are
So
some
it's not going
handicap,
under?
there's some handicap spots underneath the structure. So you can see all of our, this is the street, this is Commerce here, this is all of our parking right over here. The handicap spots are underneath the building, closest to the entrance.
I mean, this is more of a planning board, but I'm just wearing part of my other hat. With that parking situation, the underneath is not gonna be the electric, the portals
No,
for
no,
electric
no.
cars?
No.
Okay. So then, the first view that you had, it's a more of a tunnel coming out for the parking? Or is that driveway still on the side of the building? Is it coming under the building to come out? You follow what I'm asking? So
yeah,
right there where
over
your
here.
point is,
Yeah, so the building goes over to the
it
property
goes
line.
over the driveway that's
Correct,
coming out. So
correct.
the current
And-
driveway,
There's enough clearance for fire truck access.
oh, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's going over that, coming closer to Gordo's, but it's
Correct.
still meeting the setbacks
Correct.
on that side.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was done deliberately, because if we have a side yard setback, it has to be 0, or it has to be at least, I think, 4 or 5 feet. So we have to go to the property line to respect the code on that one.
So your property to property line on both sides?
Actually, this side, we don't have a tunnel, so our property line is right here. And then it's probably about, 15 to 18 feet wide.
15 feet from the
Gas
the
station.
old gas station?
Yes, and which is
Just
owned
to
by,
make sure I'm seeing
Yep.
it correctly.
And that was owned by the same people, is it not?
it's owned by the same, owner, yeah.
Owner?
Any other
No,
questions?
no further.
Any
Nothing,
other
Mr.
questions for
Chairman,
the
thank you.
members of the board?
No, we're done.
Is there anyone wish to make a determination to approve or deny this application?
Mr. Chairman, I'll, based on provided documentation, photos, and testimony, I make we move ahead and approve Z 2613.
Okay.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
All right, second by Mr. Lepantos. Ms. Novak?
Aye.
Mr. DeChico?
Aye.
All right, chairman votes aye. Thank you.
Thank
Carried
you.
5-0.
Have a good night.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last application for tonight is 26-6. Sidney Schloman. Sid Schloman.
Ms. Grahowski.
Hi. Raise your right hand, please. Testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
You are.
I'm Claire Harris. I'm representing SI Design Architects on behalf of the owners
And where is your firm located?
in Rye.
In Rye, New York?
Yes.
Okay. So Sid Schloman is not around.
Not
Okay.
tonight.
This is for Clara Calvin, owner of the premises located at 18 Hardscrabble Road in Chappaqua, designated on the tax map at Town of Mount Pleasant as 89/99.6-2-59. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. The application is for a proposed two-story addition to an existing single-family dwelling on a legal substandard parcel of almost 35,000 square feet in an R40 zone. And the following variances are requested. Front yard setback, 60 feet is requested, existing. Proposing 45, variance 15 feet. So actually, you're not looking to go forward any more than what you have now, correct?
No. It's a second story addition. inside.
Okay.
So it'll align with the first floor.
It's pretty straightforward. Now, you're adding a second addition?
Yes.
Okay. You're not expanding the existing footprint?
No.
Okay. I have no further. That's pretty straightforward. Ms. Novak?
No questions.
Mrs. DeChico?
No questions.
Mr. Dorr?
Do you have any diagram or any of the pictures on there for elevations?
Yes.
No further questions?
Okay. Mr. Lepantos?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
I think it's pretty straightforward. Is there anyone here for or against this application?
I'm not for or against it, I just want some information. Name is Coars, I'm a.
Please come up, sir.
Come up.
Please come up.
You have to swear.
Hi, name is
Raise your right
Charles
hand, sir.
Coars.
Testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Absolutely.
Okay, your name?
Charles Coars,
Okay. and-
17 Hardscrabble Hill Road, across the street from this house.
Okay.
And so what I'm interested in was actually seeing the plans, and because the current house is a cape, or it has, you know, it has that second story already. And so I was just curious as to what it would look like. So it's converted from a cape to whatever you want to call it, right? But how much higher is this roof line as against the roof line that's currently there? Because there's bedrooms or whatever up on the second story. So there already is a second story, right? So how much taller is the house going to be than it currently is?
Well, it won't be as high as the full second story roof line right now, or it'll align with the top of the roof now. So
Oh, okay. Right, so basically, when we look across the street, instead of having the gables or whatever it's called, it'll just have a straight face and a straight line across the roof.
Yes.
Okay? And then the only other question I have is how many more bedrooms and bathrooms will this add to the current house? Because in our neighborhood, we have, you know, water and septic. We have wells and septic and no, you know, and you know, the infrastructure is specific to the house. So I'm just curious how much.
Sir, so I just want to say, just for, I know there's nobody else here right now, but
Okay.
if you can address your questions to the board,
Okay.
and then we give the applicant an opportunity to try
Understood.
and respond to them.
Okay.
Not all of them are particularly pertinent to this evening, but I think we get through it quick if we just
Yeah, no, I'm.
ask them and give her a chance.
Yeah,
to
I'm
answer.
almost done. So I want to know what the increase in terms of the number of bedrooms and bathrooms is with this addition.
Anything else? That-
I guess that's it.
Okay. How many bedrooms, an increase in bedrooms in this house?
we're adding one bedroom. and
One
one
bedroom. Any bathrooms?
One bathroom.
One bathroom.
All right.
And the roof line was going to be the same, I think you'd said.
Yeah, the same height.
So
Okay,
it's basically just bumping out.
Well, yeah.
okay,
All right, any other questions, sir?
No, thank you.
okay.
Good night.
Does the
Didn't
board
mean to
wish to make
upset
a
you.
determination at this time?
I mean, I'll just go on the record, just say those questions that were asked by the neighbor were basically more Board of Health outside of the scope of this zoning board to really answer officially or correctly. But to get to this level, that would have to get approved anyway from the septic standpoint. So, I mean, we're just looking at an existing setback to begin with, so.
So there's no violations of the existing front yard setback on this particular application?
Well, it's not being exacerbated. It continues to be in need of a 15-foot variance as the previous construction provided for.
Correct, but they're not
Not increasing it.
increasing it.
Right.
Okay. So do I have a
So,
motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, based on the provided documentation on what we were being asked about, I move that we approve Z 26-6.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Mr. Lapatos. Ms. Novak?
Aye.
Mr. DeChico?
Aye.
The chairman votes aye also. Thank you. 5-0.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, based on, we have completed all applications on the agenda, I move that we, for adjournment.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried. Motion. Board meeting is closed.
Mic off.